Hi, Tima here with SlideHub July product update. We hope you've had a great summer so far. We took a little break ourselves, but we are excited to introduce the Presentation Builder automation for a faster and more structured presentation creation. So let's dive right in. We've extended our automation capabilities to presentations. With Presentation Builder automation, you can now generate complete and customized slide decks using simple forms. Managers define the structure using variable slide groups and placeholders, and end users just answer a few questions. Based on those answers, the right slides and content are automatically added. It's a fast and consistent way to create tailored presentations, like sales decks or onboarding materials, without having to start from scratch every time. Let me show you how to set it up. Let me walk you through how to get started with the presentation automation and how I set it up for my own team. Before setting anything up, think about which presentation you would like to automate and why you're automating the presentation. In our case, the goal is to have the team generate a tailored sales presentation for each client, one that's automatically customized based on the client's name, industry, region, and specific services they're interested in. To fully benefit from presentation customization, we recommend adding placeholders. This allows your team to personalize the content more effectively, and by applying logic to placeholders, just like with slides, you can take automation even further. Start by ensuring your presentation includes all the necessary placeholders. First, download the presentation in Manager version, and once downloaded, you can begin adding placeholders wherever needed, such as for client names, logos, industries, or images. First, I'm going to add some text placeholders. You can either insert an existing placeholder from your library, or just type a new one directly into the slide using square brackets. For example, something like client name or client industry. Next, to create an image placeholder, open the Manage drop-down and click Placeholder Identifiers. Choose Image as the type and click Create New Identifier. Name your placeholder using square brackets, for example, Cover Image. Optionally, you can add filters based on image labels, but in my case, I'm applying logic to this image later, so I skip the filtering. Once created, select the image you want to act as a placeholder on your slide, hover over the placeholder identifier in the add-in, and click Click to Link to connect it to your identifier. Since I want my team to be able to easily add the client's logo during the download process, I will also add a logo placeholder. This works almost the same as the image placeholder, but choose Icon as the type, then click Create New. Under Icon type for end users, make sure to choose logos. This is really important, as if you leave it on company icons, users will only see the icons uploaded by the manager in the library, and won't be able to search for client company logos using the BrandFetch integration. Then just click Create, and link it to the logo placeholder on the slide. If you would like to reuse an image or icon placeholder across multiple slides, just select the image or icon element on the slide, go into the placeholder manager, find the one you created, and link it to the element on the slide. Once you created all the necessary placeholders, update your presentation. During the validation process, if you've added new text placeholders, you can add them to the library so they function as placeholders. After that, head over to the presentation settings. To be able to apply logic to slides, first switch presentation type to Presentation Builder. You can do that within the presentation setting using the presentation type dropdown. Once you turned your presentation into a presentation builder, the next step is to create variable slide groups based on your automation needs. To get started, click on All Slides. This will open a complete overview of your presentation where you can begin adding variable slide groups as needed. You can think of variable slide groups as slide placeholders. The variable slide groups with forms let you control which slides appear or get inserted based on user input. This is useful if your deck includes, for example, slides in multiple languages, slides tied to different services, regional content, or anything you might want to conditionally show or hide. For this presentation, I need to create 7 variable slide groups. 5 variable groups for the services slides, 1 for case studies, and 1 for context slides. Please note I'm creating 5 separate variable slide groups for the 5 services slides, as I plan to automatically insert multiple slides based on logic. For example, when all services is selected, I need all 5 services slides to be included. Since one slide can be inserted per variable group, a separate group is required for each slide. For the additional 2 variable slide groups, the context slides and cases only, one slide needs to be inserted based on user selection, so a single variable group for each is sufficient. To create a variable group, click Create Variable Group. Give it a clear name and use labels to filter which slides are included. For example, all my services slides are tagged with the services subcategory. so I will filter to display only slides labeled as services. This step is important if you want end users to select from a group of slides. In my case, however, I will create an automation rule for each variable group that inserts a specific slide based on the user's form response. To ensure the correct slides are included, click the Preview button. This will give you an overview of all slides with the chosen label. Next, you can optionally decide whether users should be able to skip this step and enable multi-selection if needed. In my case, this isn't necessary. As I mentioned earlier, I'll be applying logic to insert specific slides instead. Then click Save. Next, I need to create the same variable group 4 more times. As mentioned earlier, if you plan to automatically insert multiple slides based on logic, such as when all services is selected, you'll need to create a separate variable group for each slide, since each variable slide group can only insert one slide per group. I'll go ahead and quickly set up the remaining 4 services variable groups. After that, I move on to building the 2 additional variable groups, one for the case studies and one for the Contact Us slides based on region. Next, to apply logic to your slides and placeholders, you will need to create a form. To do so, go to the Variable Slides section and within Associated Forms area, click Add New. First, give your form a clear, descriptive name by clicking the pencil icon. Create your first question by clicking the pencil icon next to the text that says Write Question Here. And you can also add your answers by clicking the pencil icon next to the text that says Write Answer Here. To add an additional answer, click the plus icon next to the answer, and to add another question, click the plus icon next to the first question. In my case, I added a question asking whether the client is interested in a specific service or all services. If a specific service is selected, I want a follow-up question to appear asking which service is the client interested in. To make that a conditional question, click the logic icon next to the follow-up question. Click Add New, set the condition. For example, show this question only if specific service is selected, else hide, and then click Preview in the top right corner to check whether your logic is working. In my case, I can see that the next question appears only when I select a specific service, so I know the logic is functioning as intended. Next, I'm also quickly going to finish adding questions about the client industry, which I'm going to use for the case slides, and the client region, which I'm going to use for the contact slides. Once your form is complete, you can click Preview again to test how it will appear to users and ensure the form is working as expected. To start applying logic to the slide groups, scroll down to the table of variable slide groups. Under the Logic column, hover over No Logic Yet and click Click to edit. Then click Add New to start building your logic. First, give your logic a clear name, then begin adding the conditions. So for the first services variable group, I want to create a logic that inserts the right slide based on the question about which specific service the client is interested in. So when end users pick ocean freight, the ocean freight slide will be inserted, and when they pick air freight, the air freight slide will be inserted. But I also want the tool to insert the first service, which is ocean freight, when a client is interested in all services. To do this, first I select from the actions that I want the platform to insert a specific slide and find the ocean freight slide. Next, I select the question about whether the client is interested in a specific service or all from the Question Forms dropdown, and then select the answer All Services. Within the same logic, I'll also add the question about which specific service the client is interested in by clicking the plus icon next to the Answers dropdown, and then select Ocean Freight as the answer. Then I change the condition from If All below is true to If Any using the dropdown. That way the slide is inserted if either Ocean Freight or All Services is selected. Next, I create 4 more logics for this variable group, one for each of the remaining services, so that if user picks a specific service, the correct slide is inserted. For example, if user selects air freight, I create a condition that says if all below is true, then use specific, choose the air freight slide, and set the question which service is the client interested in with the answer air freight. And that's it. I repeat the same for land freight, warehouse management, and digital platform. Once I'm done setting up logic for the first variable group, I close the logic creation window and move on to the remaining services variable groups. So for the first variable group, I've already set up a logic that if the client selects all services, the platform inserts the ocean freight slide. For the next 4 variable groups, I need to create logics that also insert the remaining services when all services is selected by users. This ensures that all relevant services slides are included. So for variable group 2, I will create a logic that says insert air freight slide if all services is selected. For group 3, insert the land freight slide if all services is selected. For group 4, insert the warehouse management slide if all services is selected. And for group 5, insert the digital platform slide if all services is selected. By doing this, whether the client chooses a single service or all services, the platform will insert the correct slides. Now I'll add logic to the last two variable slide groups. For case studies, I will use the question related to the client's industry. I want the platform to always insert the specific case study slide based on the industry selected. For example, if consumer electronics is selected, insert the Velotech case study slide. If pharmaceutical is inserted, insert the Medipharma case study. And I just keep going until all the industries are covered. For the contact us variable group, I use the question about the client's region. If America is selected, insert the America context slide. If EMEA is selected, insert the EMEA context slide. And if APAC is selected, insert the APAC context slide. And that's it, all the logics is set now, and the presentation will always pull in the correct slides based on the client's answers. Once your variable slide group logic is complete, you can optionally take a step further by applying logic to placeholders. This allows you to dynamically insert specific content, such as images or industry-specific terms, based on user responses. To do this, go to Placeholders and Forms. This view gives you a full overview of all the slides linked placeholders, making it easy to identify which ones can be automated with logic. In this case, I'm only applying logic to the cover image placeholder and the industry text placeholder. The logo placeholders are already set up for users to quickly search and select the appropriate logo. The platform will automatically place it in the correct position. And for the client name placeholders, you don't require logic. Users can simply type the name directly into the text field, and the platform will automatically replace the placeholder identifier with the entered name during the download process. However, for image placeholders, I want to take full advantage of logic to automatically insert the right image based on the services selected, so users don't have to choose and insert it manually. To apply logic to any placeholders, hover over the placeholder you want to configure. Then click the logic icon and click Add New. Give your logic a clear name, then begin building your automation. You have a few options for how images can be handled. Let end users select images manually from the list full of company images. Filter which images users can select from using labels. Or, as in this case, automatically insert specific images based on user responses. Since my logic is based on services, I'm setting up conditions for all 5 individual services, plus 1 for when the user selects all services. For example, I will select the question, which specific service is the client interested in. If user selects ocean freight, choose a specific ocean freight image from the library to be inserted. Then I just repeat this process for the other services. Once complete, the platform will automatically insert the appropriate image into the placeholder based on the user selection. And finally, let me also quickly show you how logic can be applied to the text placeholder using the client's industry as an example. Hover over the text placeholder and click the logic icon. Click Add New and give it a name. Choose the relevant question from your form. In this case, is the client industry question. For each industry option, which in my case are consumer electronics, food and beverage, healthcare, and fashion e-commerce, set up a condition so that the correct text is inserted automatically. For instance, in this case, if consumer electronics is selected, the placeholder will insert the text consumer electronics. If fashion e-commerce is selected, I will type in fashion e-commerce so the right text is inserted. This allows your presentation to be customized with minimal manual input from users. Once you're done setting up all the logics for your variable slide groups and placeholders, test the full experience to make sure your form automation works correctly. Just click the preview button in the top right corner to simulate the user experience, and that's it.
That's it for this month. If you have any questions or need help setting it up, please don't hesitate to reach out to our customer success team. Thanks for watching and see you next time.